Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Guru Medeva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Padyantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmad Gurubhyo Namaha श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः ओम श्री मेधा दक्षिणामूर्ति स्वामिने नमः ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मां विद्विषावहै ओम शांति 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 हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम Namaste once again, everyone. Please mark your attendance, if not already done.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste. Sadbrahma karyam sagalam sadaiva sanmatrametat natatonyadaste astiti yo bhakti natasya moha vinirgato nidritavat prajalpaha. We are discussing one of the most controversial topics of Advaita Vedanta. In the previous sloka, the Acharya said, or in fact the sloka which just now I read and which we are discussing since the last class, Sad Brahma Karyam Sakalam. The message is that other than the invisible, all-pervading Brahman, the Sachidananda Rupa Brahman, nothing else in the universe has got independent existence. Brahman is the only reality, the absolute reality, and everything else, even though they have experienceability, transactability, and utility, all of them have only dependent existence. Their existence depends upon Brahman. They borrow their existence from Brahman. Put it in other words, the entire world does not have absolute reality. It is unreal. It is only an appearance consisting of countless names and forms and functions. The moment we say the world is unreal, we face a huge army of philosophers and of course common people who are up in arms. Even for ordinary people like us, it is an unacceptable proposition. Even when we try to explain what we mean by unreal and give the glaring example of the dream world, people refuse to accept. Fully anticipating such resistance, Shankaracharya also wants to highlight the fact that this, in fact, is the message of the Upanishads. We are not saying this. The rishis who have given us the Upanishads have said this. And very wisely he does by borrowing words from the Upanishads themselves for composing the shloka. Therefore, Shankaracharya wants to remind us of the Chandogya Shashtadhyaya. Beautiful, beautiful adhyaya. That's the only adhyaya talks entire thing about Brahman. And there Brahman is defined as Sadeva Saumya Idamagra Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. Ekameva Advitiyam, the only one, the unique one without a second, without varieties of names, forms, and functions. And this Brahman is stated as the creator of the universe. Because if in the beginning only Brahman was there, obviously everything else has come from Brahman. So Brahman is the cause and the universe is the effect or the product. And here Acharya, Shankaracharya wants to reflect that idea by saying Sadbrahma Karyam Sakalam Bhavati. Now, if that is the case, the question is, why is there so much resistance to accept the Mithyatvam of the world, even from those who take the Veda as Pramana? The Mithyatvam of the world, of the universe, of the Jagat is talked about only by Advaita Vedanta. Even Visishta Advaita, Dvaita philosophies, which accept Vedas as Pramana, do not accept this proposition. They say world is real, Brahman is also real. Then you ask them, what do you mean by this? Ekameva Advitiyam. They will just ignore that question. So why is it that there is so much resistance is the question. The simple answer is that all of them are under the spell of Maya. And as long as the spell of Maya is there, they will insist the world is independently existent. And when we get out of the spell of Maya by gaining Jnanam, when we become a super Veka, when we raise our awareness to a higher level, when we become a Jnani, we will understand that the existence is given to the world by me, the super Veka. Just like the dream world appeared to be real in the dream, because the reality was provided by the Veka under the spell of Nidra. Similarly, the reality to the world is being provided by the Veka, by me, under the spell of Maya. That's all. As long as I am under the spell of Nidra, I will believe that the dream world is real. As long as I am under the spell of Maya, I will believe that this entire universe is real. It is only when the spiritual awakening takes place that one will accept that Brahman is the only reality and the entire world borrows that reality, that existence from Brahman and appears to be real. And that Brahman I am. So intrinsically, the world does not have any reality. I am not an ordinary Veka. I am a super Veka. I alone lend existence to this world. I alone lend reality to the world. And I am the only reality. Mayyeva sakalam jatam, mayi sarvam pratishtitam. Mayi sarvam layam yanti, tad brahma advayam asmi aham. Kaivalyopanishad says. Mayeva sakalam jatam. Everything is born from out of me only. Everything is sustained by me only or in me only. Everything gets resolved in me only. And who am I? Tat Brahma Advayam Asmi Aham. I am that non-dual Brahman. So Upanishad after Upanishad is giving the same message. And all these mantras will become meaningful only when we reach the super waker status stage. But during the spiritual journey, all these mantras are all useful for Nitya Parayanam Nididhyasanam. Many people actually do Parayanam of such Nididhyasana sloka. 108 times they will do. 1008 times they will do. It's a routine for them. It is not merely repetition of the sloka which is important. They are not meant merely for chanting. Every word of Mayeva Sakalam Jatam should become meaningful to me. Then only I can claim as to myself to be a super waker. So let us get on with the sloka. Mohaha na vinirgataha. Vinirgataha means liberated. Na. He is not out of the spell of Maya. So if he says the world is existent by itself, how should the statement be viewed? Acharya said, Nidritavat prajalpaha. It is like prattling or blabbering of a dreamer in dream. Nidrita means one who is under the spell of Nidra Shakti. Similar is the case of the person who talks about duality, who talks about the reality of the Nama Rupa Prapancha. But the Advaitin is so courageous. He says any philosophy which is Dvaitam, and in fact, if you look at it, all other systems other than Advaita Vedanta are different types or different shades of Dvaitam only. Advaita Vedanta will tell you, tell this only to students, not even in the public, because it will be misunderstood. That's why, Vedanta classes are meant for only select students. Those who are really interested, those who are committed. Whenever Vedanta talks about such messages of the Upanishads, if you start harboring doubts about what the Upanishads say, you will never progress. So here he says all the systems and people who talk about duality, they are all prattling like a person in dream. Therefore, all of them nidritavat prajalpaha bhavati mohaha na vinirgataha asti. From Advaita point of view, all these are very profound verses. Continuing with the next verse, 69 in our list. Brahmaivedam vishwamityeva vani Shrauti brute tarvanishta varishta tasmat etad brahma matram hi vishwam nadishtanad bhinnata aropitasya. The The Anvaya of the sloka is Vani Atharva Nishta Varishta Shrauti Idam Vishwam Brahma Eva Iti Brute. Tasmat Etat Vishwam Brahma Matram Hi Aropitasya Adhishtanat Na Bhinnata. We can add Asti to complete the sentence. Vani, the sentence. Atharva Nishta, that obtains in the Atharva Veda. Varishta is great. Shrauti, belonging to Veda. Idam Vishwam, this word. Brahma, Brahman, Eva, alone. Iti, thus. Brute, declares. Tasmat, therefore. Etad, this. Vishwam, world. Brahma Matram, Brahman alone. He, because Aropitasya, of the superimposed, Adhishtanat, from the basis or foundation, na bhinnata, separateness is not there. That's why it said, Shankaracharya brings again and again quotations from Upanishads, different Upanishads, in order to establish that Brahman alone is the reality, absolute reality, and that exactly is what Upanishad after Upanishad is saying. You can't have a selective acceptance of the Vedas. Upanishads are as much part of the Veda as the Karma Kanda. You cannot say, I will accept these portions, but I will reject these portions. Either you accept them in total or you reject them in total. And that is why Shankaracharya, knowing fully well that there is a huge resistance to this idea from everybody, quotes Upanishad after Upanishad. He says, you see, this Upanishad is saying the same thing, this Upanishad is saying the same thing. What's your problem? If you say, I accept Vedas as Pramana, as the source of knowledge, then you have to accept every sentence which is there in the Veda. So what he says here, the great sentence that obtains in the Atharva Veda declares thus, this world is Brahman alone. Therefore, this world is Brahman alone, for there is no separateness of the superimposed from its foundation, from its basis, which is the truth. So first he quoted Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, borrowed from Taittiriya Upanishad, Yajurveda. Then he quoted Sat Brahma, mentioned in the verse 68. Chandogya Shashtadhyaya, I told. Which is Samaveda Upanishad. Now he is referring to Atharvana Veda mantra, indicating that this message is not an incidental message given in one part of the Upanishad. All the Vedas and Upanishads which belong to the Vedas are uniformly declaring the unreality of the world. And here, Shankaracharya is referring to the Mundaka Upanishad, which belongs to Atharvana Veda. And in that, in the second chapter, second section, the Upanishad talks about Brahman projecting or creating the universe. And after talking about creation, the Srishti, presenting the world as creation or projection of Brahman through its Maya Shakti, the Upanishad concludes by saying, what we are experiencing as this world is not really the world at all. It is nothing but Brahman only, appearing as the world with different names and forms. Just as gold appears as ornaments with different names and forms, it is one Brahman alone, which is everywhere, appearing as the space, air, water, earth, mountains, rivers, oceans, etc. Everything has come from this Brahman alone. Behind everything is Brahman. To the right of everything is Brahman. To the left of everything is Brahman. Below everything is Brahman. Above everything is Brahman. Everything is Brahman only. What the ignorant sees as the world, the wise sees as Brahman. It's a very profound mantra in the Mundaka Upanishad. The full mantra is Brahmai Vedam Amritam Purastad Brahma Paschat Brahma Dakshinata Cha Uttarena Adashordvam Cha Prasultam Brahmai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam. What Shankaracharya does in this sloka is he has taken the fourth line partly. Brahmai Vedam Vishwamidam Varishtam. From the Upanishad, straight away lifts and puts it in the sloka. Why? Because he wants to show that all this is what is said in the Upanishad. I am saying the same thing. I'm not making up some new story. Idam Vishwam, this universe, which the person under the spell of Maya calls the universe. The wise person seeing through the eyes of the Upanishad understands Idam Vishwam Brahma Eva. This universe is Brahman alone. In fact, this mantra or the passage of that mantra alone, even Krishna borrows in Bhagavad Gita. Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihe Brahmagnau Brahmanahutam Brahmaivatena Gantavyam Brahma Karma Samadhina. He uses a different example because it is talking in the context of a Grihastha Jnani who does homa, karmas and all that. Agnihotra. So he is talking about Arpanam, which is the spoon with which we offer the ghee, the Agni, the Havis. So there he is talking about everything being Brahman. And the sloka says the same thing. Idam Vishwam Brahma Eva. Everything is Brahman alone. In fact, this sloka, this Brahmarpanam Brahma Havihi, in many places, including Gurukulam, it is chanted before eating. Before we have lunch, they chant this sloka, Annapurne, Sadapurne, so many slokas, few slokas they chant. 15th chapter also Bhagavad Gita is chanted. And many people think they don't understand the meaning, right? Many people think that it is a mantra to be chanted before eating. The idea is eating should be done with that attitude that everything is Brahman only. You have to keep on reinforcing this understanding again and again at every given opportunity. So when you are before eating, when you chant, it reminds us the plate is Brahman, the food is Brahman, the eater is Brahman, the digestive juice is Brahman. Everything is Brahman. Relating to eating, everything is Brahman. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma. Even when we are not Vedantists, in religious languages, in every language will have some such phrase or not. Everything is God. In fact, in all regional languages, we have such bhajans which declare everything is God. In spiritual language, we say everything is Brahman, the truth. That's all. And therefore, Shankaracharya says, Brahmaiva idam Vishwam. This we should put it under inverted commas. Brahmaiva idam Vishwam. Connected to the Mundaka Upanishad. Idam Vishwam Brahmayeva. This entire universe is Brahman. But appearing with Vesham, with costumes, multifarious costumes, numerous names and forms. In fact, if you actually pay attention and think about it, in our culture, profound Vedantic messages are contained even in common day-to-day statements and usages. To the children, we tell, though, you should not do anything wrong because God is watching you. What is the Vedanta equivalent? Brahman is Sakshi Chaitanyam. So like that, if you think about it, even though whether we say it consciously or unconsciously, we all accept that there is only God. Everything is God. That's why we worship everything. Snake, which is the most poisonous thing. We have a worship day for the snake. We worship lot of animals, plants, whenever we worship God's deity. So our culture is completely replete with this understanding that God is God is everywhere. From a religious angle, we can understand all this. When we come to Vedanta, that same thing with certain replacement of the terminology, it's the same message. So he says, Idam Vishwam Brahma Eva. The creation is Brahman only. Ityeva Vani Shrauti. Shrauti Vani means Vedic statement. And what type of Vedic statement? He says, Atharva Nishta Varishta. Atharva Nishta means available in Atharvana Veda. That means what? Available in Mundaka Upanishad, belonging to Atharvana Veda. So Atharva Nishta is present in Atharvana Veda, Mundaka Upanishad. Varishta, which is a culminating statement, which is a profound statement. And after talking about creation, that is the concluding statement. Therefore, Varishta means Tatparya Bhuta Vakyam or central message. Varishta Bhrute. Bhrute means mentions, declares. And from this declaration, what is the bottom line? What is the conclusion? To sum up, as they say, Tasmat etat vishwam brahma matram hi. Therefore, Tasmat, therefore, this universe, idam vishwam, etat vishwam, brahma matram hi. It is only Brahman, it is only another name for that Brahman. Just because it has another name and another word is there, don't think there is another entity. There is only one word, gold. There may be different names, bangle, necklace, ring, etc. Now, just because there are so many words, we should not conclude that there are so many different things. One can argue, yeah, generally it may be so. Because a table, we say chair, mic, fan. There are several words. So may say, no, everything is different. Go. Bangle is different, necklace is different, etc. But when you say gold and bangle, there are two words, but there is only one substance, one thing. In fact, science also accepts. You analyze everything, they bring it down to one substance, atom and then molecules. Science accepts this. You can reduce everything to just one substance. So, bangle is what? Another name for gold with a particular name, form, and function. Similarly, the world is another name for Brahman, appearing in multiple vesham or multiple costumes. That's why he says, Tasmat etat vishwam brahma matram hi. Therefore, this universe is Brahman only. And na adhishtanat bhinnata aropitasya. Here Shankaracharya now introduces the students to two new words. The word is adhishtanam. Adhishtanam in this context means whatever is real. Another word for real is satyam. Adhishtanam also means the same thing in this context. In various ashramas, in fact, they use the word adhishtanam for a place where a sannyasi is worshipped after he attains samadhi. Like if you go to Kanchipuram Mutt, they will say, this is the adhishtanam of Paramacharya. You go to Rishikesh, they will say, this is the adhishtanam of Puja Swamiji Dayanand Saraswati. This is the adhishtanam of Chinmayananda Swami. Therefore, the word adhishtanam means a place where they are worshipped after they attain samadhi. But here, the word adhishtanam is used in a different sense. In Vedanta, adhishtanam does not mean a resting place of Brahman. In Vedanta, adhishtanam means that which supports. That which sustains or forms the foundation of everything is called adhishtanam. And what is real is called adhishtanam because real supports the unreal by lending existence to it. Gold lends existence to ornaments. The movie screen lends existence to the movie. The screen is real, the movie is unreal. I'm relatively speaking. Waker lends existence to the dream and supports the dream. Support is thus done by lending existence. Therefore, whatever lends existence is real, it is the adhishtanam. What about the unreal? Unreal is supported by the real. Therefore, the unreal borrows existence. And that borrowing process is called aropitam or adhyastam. Aropitam means projected, that which is projected falsely, superimposed, that which is unreally appearing. Tattva students will recall the example of a prism. When a red flower is kept near the prism, which is, the crystal, which is white in color or colorless, appears to be red in color. because the red color is superimposed from the flower onto the crystal. That superimposition is a false superimposition. Remove that flower, the red color disappears. It is not real. So aropitam means that which is projected falsely, that which is unreally appearing. Therefore, satyam is adhishtanam, mithya is aropitam. And Shankaracharya says, mithya cannot exist separate from satyam, or aropitam cannot exist separate from adhishtanam. Na adhishtanat bhinnata aropitam. Bhinnata means separate, having separate existence, separate from adhisthana. That in which the unreal is based is called adhishthanam. As I said, we can call it base or foundation also. Some acharyas use the word substratum. Our Pujya Swamiji generally doesn't like this word substratum. He says, what do you mean by substratum? You can't say Brahman is substratum. It is the main stratum. Where the word see, this is the problem with language, English language. Certain words, they create certain, certain understanding and certain meanings they have, which gives us a certain orientation to understand the word. So Puja Swamiji used to be very careful what is the right word to be chosen so that even if you don't understand, you don't misunderstand. Therefore, if you have actually listened to Puja Swamiji's talk, he talks very slowly. In fact, you can see that every word that he speaks, he thinks about that word, analyzes that word, whether that word is suitable for that particular context. If I use that particular word, whether it is likely to create a misunderstanding among the students. Very quickly, like a computer, he goes through all this process and then he speaks. And that is why every word spoken by Puja Swamiji is so precious. He doesn't talk thoughtlessly, just go on talking. No. Every word he will think and speak. That's why he doesn't, another example, he doesn't like the word bliss. When you say Ananda, Satchidananda, many acharyas use the word bliss for explaining Ananda. Puja Swamiji says bliss is not Ananda. Bliss may be a state of very superior happiness, but it is still something below Ananda only. It is experiential happiness only you call bliss. Ananda is not experiential happiness. Ananda in Satchidananda phrase means pure happiness, which is your nature. Don't reduce that to experiential happiness by using the word bliss. And that's why when you study with such master scholars, your own in-depth understanding increases that. How you should teach. It's not only what you should teach, selection of words also should be carefully done. Because we are all teaching in a language which we are familiar, whereas the original text is in a language which we don't know anything about. Such a confusion will not come if we are taught in Sanskrit. But because we are translating it, there is a risk of the meaning getting, mutilated or, different meanings coming. So this universe also, if understood properly, na adhishtanat bhinnata is not non-separate from adhishtanam Brahman. It has no independent existence. It has no own existence. Aropit pitasya eva. The world is mithya asti. The world is unreal because it has no independent existence. That is the message of this shloka. Continuing, verse 70. Now here he raises a Purva Pakshi argument. Because, let me just briefly explain what a Purva Pakshi is. See, the word, the commentaries are written, Vedanta or Upanishads, etc. When the particular meaning is extracted from the Vedic mantras, statements, and presented, there will be many people who will be the opponents who will say, no, I don't accept this mantra. I don't accept this interpretation. So if you read the commentaries, the bhashyams, they are all like, in the form of a dialogue between the Vedantin and the opponents. Opponents will challenge everything the Vedantin says. And the Vedantin will establish through all this, Nyaya, Tarka, grammar, Vyakarana, everything he will use to establish that that interpretation is a correct interpretation and what the opponents are saying is not correct. The opponents are called Purva Pakshis. Don't think Purva Pakshi means is some sort of a bird, because Pakshi means bird. Paksham also means side. So Purva Pakshi means the opposite side. So here Shankaracharya, in this sloka, is assuming that there is many times actually there may not be an actual Purva Pakshi or an opponent, but the author himself will assume that when this is studied or read by somebody, they may have this objection. I will deal with that objection here. In fact, those of you who have got some legal background, who have followed the arguments that take place in the courts, the bhashyams are exactly the same thing. Every party will not only argue his own case, but will also point out why the argument of the opposite side is not sustainable. Both the points every lawyer has to cover. It is not just say that my case has got credibility, validity. He has also to establish that the case of the opposite side has no validity or credibility. And all the bhashyams follow this methodology. Now, it was all so much of aside notes. Let us get into the sloka. Satyam yadi syad jagadetatmanah jagadetatmanah anantattvahanihin nigama pramanata asatyavaditvam apishituhu syat naitatrayam sadhuhitam mahatmanam. Here is pointing out what will be the consequences if the world is taken as real. Anyway, we'll see that in detail. The Anvaya of this sloka is Yadi Yetat Jagat Satyam Syat. We can supply Tarhi. Atmanaha Anantatvahanihi Syat. Nigama apramanata ishituhu asatyavaditvam api etatrayam mahatmanam sadhu hitam na. Yadi, if this jagat world satyam syat should be real, tarhi then atmanaha of the Atma, Anantatva Hanihi, damage to the limitlessness, Syat would be. Nigama apramanata, loss of Vedas validity as a pramana. Ishituhu, for the Lord. Asatyavaditvam, the status of one who speaks the untruth, api, would result, etat, this, triad, mahatmanam, for great people, sadhu, good, hitam, wholesome, beneficial, na, is not. Putting all this together, what he says, if this world were to be real, then there would be damage to the limitlessness of Atma, loss of Vedas validity as a pramana, and the position of the Lord becoming one who speaks untruth. All these three are neither proper nor wholesome to great people. So, one of the cardinal principles of Vedanta is the unreality of the world. Very profound, very significant principle, but very difficult to swallow. In fact, these three cardinal principles, they are expressed in three statements. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya, Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. Of these three, we are discussing the first two. Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha will be our next topic from verse number 74 onwards. So here we are seeing Jagan Mithya, the world is unreal. Very, very difficult. Everybody accept the dream as unreal. They won't challenge you if you say, oh, dream is unreal. Isn't it? But to accept this tangible world as unreal, which has experienceability, transactability, and utility, the world within ETU, to accept that it is unreal is very, very difficult. And as I said, it is not only the layman cannot swallow this, even the most of the philosophical systems also cannot accept the mithyatvam of the Jagat. Sankhya Yoga, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Purva Mimamsa, none of them accept it. Even in Vedanta, which is based on Upanishad, Visishta Advaita Vedanta, and Dvaita Vedanta, even though their teachings are also based on the same Upanishad, find it unacceptable. So difficult is the topic. Therefore, if you as a student are not able to swallow, you are in good company. Naturally, the teacher will have extra compassion. He will give you a long rope. You do not accept, no problem. Just continue attending the classes and learning. You will, stage will come when you will see that very clearly you will be able to understand the message of the Upanishads. Therefore, Jagan Mithyatvam is the toughest topic to assimilate. Here in Vivekachudamani, Shankaracharya discusses it in 16 verses, of which Swami Paramarthananda has selected only 8 verses which we are discussing. If you want an elaborate analysis of the unreality of the world, there are 2 texts where it is thoroughly discussed. One is Mandukya Karika, 2nd chapter. Vaitatya Prakaranam is called, unreality chapter. In 38 verses, Shankaracharya's guru's guru, that is Shankaracharya's grandfather guru, Gaudapadacharya, logically analyzes and establishes the unreality of the world. Very profound, amazing. In fact, people who are really serious and committed, mumukshus and jignasu should continue their study. Try to find acharyas who will teach all these things. If you want to fully understand the unreality of the world. And secondly, a scriptural analysis of the unreality of the world is found in Brahma Sutra, where Vyasacharya gives 7 sutras. Second chapter, first section, sutra number 14 to 20, 7 sutras. And this topic there is called Arambhana Adhikaranam. And that is the topic is based on the famous statement in Chandogya Upanishad, Vacharambanam Vikaro Namadheyam. The world is only a word. Beyond that, there is nothing. The profound statement, world is only a word. And that statement is analyzed by Vyasacharya in 7 sutras. And for that, Shankaracharya writes a very elaborate commentary, a very famous commentary called Arambhanadhikarana Bhashyam. Arambhanadhikarana means the scriptural analysis of the unreality of the world. And Vaitatya Prakaranam is the logical analysis of the unreality of the world. So the unreality of the world is established both on the basis of the analysis of the scriptures, Upanishads, and also through Tarkashastra, through logical analysis. Now in this verse, which we have just now read, Shankaracharya says, suppose a person argues the world is real. What will be wrong with that? He says, what is your problem? Why are you so vehement in asserting that the world is unreal? Shankaracharya says we have to be vehement. Because if you accept the world as real, there will be 3 doshams, defects or drawbacks or problems which we will have to confront with. What are those 3 problems? Shankaracharya mentions them here. So he says, Yadi etad jagat satyam syat. Yadi means if. If suppose the world is taken as real, tarhi, then 3 doshas or drawbacks will come. What are they? First one, Atmanaha anantatva hanihi. The first dosha will be, there will be duality or plurality. So Brahman is there, which is real, and the world is also there, which is also real. So there are 2 entities, Brahman and the world, Brahman and Jagat. There will be 2 realities. Instead of Advaitam, you will come down to Dvaitam, duality. And instead of the world, if you take the innumerable objects as real, then you are ending up with not only duality, but plurality. So when you take the world as real, you end up either in duality or plurality. So you come down from Advaitam, come down to Dvaitam, if you accept the world as real. Now some people will say, so what? Let there be many realities. Let us enjoy the plurality. And if Acharya says, if you say so, then the problem is, of course, the problem can be presented in different ways. Here, Acharya chooses to present it in one way. Okay. He says, If you accept the world as real, the Shruti statement will get falsified. The Vedic statement defining Brahman will get falsified because Veda defines Brahman as Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So if you focus on the word Anantam, which means limitless, if you take that the world is not non-dual, but it is dual or plural, then what will happen? Now, Veda Upanishad says Brahman is limitless. Brahman, there is no time-wise limitation, there is no space-wise limitation, and there is no object-wise limitation also. This is the Upanishadic statement. That statement will be falsified because Brahman can't be limitless if there is a real world other than Brahman. Because Brahman will be limited by the world, which is the second thing. Space-wise limitation will be there. Where Brahman is, there will be no world. When world is, there cannot be no, there will be no Brahman. So you can separate. This space belongs to Brahman. This space belongs to the world. So Brahman will attract spatial limitation. The limitless Brahman will attract spatial limitation. And once spatial limitation comes, time-wise limitation will also come. Because whatever is spatially limited will be subject to birth and death, like our own body, like the world itself. Therefore, time-wise limitation will be the second problem of Brahman. We have defined Brahman as God. So if Brahman becomes time-wise limited, then God will become mortal. There will be a time when God will cease to exist. And the third one is object-wise limitation. Brahman will have Brahmanhood, the world will have worldhood or the worldness. Brahman will not have worldness, world will not have Brahmanness. Thus, object-wise limitation will be there, or Vastu Paricheda. One is not the other. Rama is not Krishna, Krishna is not Rama. Gold is not plastic, plastic is not gold. Chair is not table, table is not chair. This is called Vastu Paricheda, object-wise limitation of each individual object. So what will happen? If you accept the world as real, Brahman will be subject to Desha Kala Vastu Paricheda. Therefore, Brahman cannot be called Anantam. Therefore, the limitlessness of Brahman, as revealed by the Vedic statement, will go away, will be falsified. That means what? Brahman also will have a date of birth and a date of expiry. God will also have a date of birth and date of expiry because God is only a religious name for spiritual Brahman. God will become mortal. Now Shankaracharya says, will any philosopher, any of you accept that God will become mortal? None of them will accept limitation of God or Brahman for that matter. Even Visishtadvaitam does not accept Brahman is mortal. But Shankaracharya says, if you consider the world as real, you will be cornered to accepting the mortality of Brahman. May you know the consequences of accepting the reality of the world. By doing so, you are destroying God. By accepting the world as real, what you are doing is unwittingly you are destroying God. Therefore, he says, Atmanaha Anantatva Hanihi. So, if the Jagat is taken as real Vastu in addition to Brahman, Advaitam will be a casualty and there will be a great damage to the limitlessness of Brahman. This is drawback number one. So other drawbacks we will discuss in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavada.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Thank you
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
very much, all of you.
Thank you,
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
Guruji.
ಗುರುಜಿ.
Thank you, Guruji.
Thank you very much.
Hari Om Guruji,
Guruji,
thank you.
Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
All
Hari Om.
heavy
Thank you.
sessions, huh?
Thank you, Guruji. Hari
I
Om.
hope none of you are thinking of running away. Hari Om.
ಹರಿ ಓಂ ಗುರುಜಿ, ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Dhanyavada. Thank
ನೋ
you.
ಗುರುಜಿ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.
Thank you. Hari Om. Yes, questions. First, Hariji. His hand went up.
Hari Om, can you hear me?
Yes, sure.
Guruji, if we take gold and
Oh, what happened? He has gone out of. So, Sulekha ji, you go ahead. You let him come back.
Thank you, Guruji. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
My question is around Dvaitam and Visheshta Dvaitam. Visheshta Dvaitam and Advaitam. If we are talking about, for example, the creation with Maya and Ishvara, where it seems to me, there seems to be a limitation of time, pralaya, where there is a passage of time and an ending and unmanifestation. Does one need to go through that process of understanding before they can come to the process of understanding Advaita, where there is a limitlessness, where there is no movement of time or movement of space, where there is a reconnecting, or where there is no reconnecting, where everything just is? My dilemma or doubt is around this idea of pralaya, and that particular set of explanations for somebody who is trying to understand limitlessness. There seems to be a sense of limitedness through space and time. Can you clarify, please?
See, I don't think there is a lack of understanding. There is only lack of acceptance. They all understand. They have all studied the Vedas. They have all studied the Upanishads. They understand what the Upanishad says. But when it comes to accepting that, there is a reservation. And this is coming from one, a very natural human tendency. Human beings want always to see a superpower, wants to get the protection of a superpower which they call God, and they feel secure. Now what Advaitam is doing is breaking, shattering that feeling, saying that there is no God. There is Brahman, and you are that Brahman. What security you are looking for elsewhere is you only, which they are not able to accept. They say, how can I, a limited entity, equate myself to Bhagavan? So what Dvaitins say, no, that we will not accept that we are equivalent to God. I will not accept it. I will accept that I may serve the God. I am a dasa bhavam I can have. But I cannot be same as God. God is something totally superior and I am not superior. This is the Dvaitin's argument. Visishta Advaitam goes one step ahead, coming nearer Advaita. He says, you say that everything is Brahman, right? So I am Brahman. But looking at myself, I don't think I am Brahman. I can be part of Brahman, but I can't be the whole Brahman. So Visishta Advaitam qualifies this, saying that it is wrong to say there is only one Brahman. There are different Brahmans. Every Atma is a separate Atma. Every Atma is a separate Brahman. So there are multifarious Brahmans. Numerous Brahmans are there. I am one of them. So I cannot be. Aham Brahmasmi is the very, you must understand that statement. Aham api Brahmasmi. You have to add a api to that. I am also Brahman. That is the Visishta Advaitam statement. Now they are mutilating the entire Upanishad statement of Aham Brahmasmi. Then say, what about Tattvamasi? They say that Tattvamasi, you must understand that Tasya Tvamasi. Change the word Tat into Tasya. Take sixth case. So all these kind of argument they put forth. And they will say, oh, there Shankaracharya has taken this interpretation. So what is wrong if we take this interpretation? All these arguments are there. So as Advaitins, what we do, we leave it to them. You understand what is being said, but you are not accepting it also. That is your problem, not my problem. With this kind of an attitude and non-acceptance, what is going to happen? Brahman is not going to be, or God is not going to be affected. You are going to continue in samsara only. All the problems of samsara, you will continue to suffer. Here, Upanishad is giving you a way out. While living itself, a Jivan Mukti it is talking about, how you can get rid of this, all the problems and things like that, which all the sorrow, grief, etc. Bhagavad Gita is also talking about that only, how to get rid of it, how to become a jnani, how to gain that knowledge and what knowledge is to be gained. But you fail to, you say that I won't accept it, fine. You go your way, I will go my way. So Vedantins, they don't actually try to convert other people to our way of thinking. We are not bothered about it. You don't think alike like us, your problem, not my problem. I am studying all these things for my own benefit, right? By my becoming jnani, you are not going to get moksha. You will get moksha only if you work for it. I am working for my moksha. Let me get what I want. You can have so many theories, so many philosophies. I'm not bothered. I am going by what has been given by God. In fact, the next class we will discuss falsifying the Vedas. If you accept the world as real, it is not only that you are fiddling with the Anantatvam of Brahman. You accept that the Vedas were given by Bhagavan, right? Now, if you say that I don't accept that statement, that means you say that Bhagavan has lied. He has told untruth in the Vedas. Are you prepared to accept that the Bhagavan has to, all Vedas is all containing truthful and untruthful statements? If you say yes, then okay, fine, that's your problem. Then don't swear by Vedas. Don't say Vedas are the pramana for self-knowledge. Don't say that. Shankaracharya, vehemently argues all these things rather. Here it is put it mildly. If you look at the bhashyams and all that, vehement argument, logical argument, others will have no answer to it. So, Visishta Advaita, Advaita and all, they have got, as I said, they understand, but what is lacking is acceptance. And acceptance is, a non-acceptance is coming out of a human psychological issue. Like, for example, I will ask you, we have all got great respect for our parents. At least in our childhood, we will consider ourselves non-equal to the parents, correct? What Vedanta says, you are equal to your parents. Will we accept it? We may read the Upanishads and all, and we'll still say, no, no. Parents are parents. How can I be equivalent to my parent? So that is the problem there. They will have to continue. The stage will come when they will come to Advaita and then understand, accept this. Understanding, as I said, not a problem. Accept this. Is that clear?
Yes, thank you, Guruji.
Thank you.
Very clear, thank you.
Thank
And just one more point on that is, as a student, the full knowledge doesn't often reveal itself all of a sudden. At least in my own case, it is a slow working towards understanding, contemplating, trying to incorporate it into one's life, then more understanding, more classes. As you have mentioned many times, this isn't a one-shot deal of attending classes as a hobby or as a post-retirement activity. So that stage or that process of learning, or even acceptance, because acceptance is something about knowledge that has revealed itself, and then recognizing that knowledge. At least that's how I see it. So until the knowledge is revealing itself, the recognition doesn't necessarily happen. So the questions come up not as a negation against the teachings per se, but more so to try to understand further or deeper. So it's almost like one's own awareness, or I've used the word maturity before, grows as more knowledge is revealed, and the knowledge reveals as one attends more classes. So it's not a non-acceptance in my case. It's more of trying to accept something that one has not recognized before, to see where it is. So
acceptance follows not only understanding, but assimilation of that knowledge. Because there are three stages. One is understanding, another is assimilation, and the third stage is acceptance. So today we are only in the stage of understanding. Now this knowledge has to be assimilated. Now the problem is, assimilation and acceptance are actually mutually dependent. If you don't accept, you won't assimilate. You will assimilate only that which you accept. So it is a complicated process, but that process, there is no time limit. There is no formula for it. You just have to keep on doing. I mean, for example, you are taking a photograph and you are having a camera. You are looking to the viewfinder and you see a very blurred image. What will you do? You will take a piece of nice soft cloth and clean the lens. Then again you will view blurred image continues or not. Suppose the lens has got some oil stuff, some oily, greasy stuff. Then you will have to apply some other solution to clean it. So the more you keep on cleaning the lens, the more the image will become clearer and clearer and clearer. The entire process of Shravanam, the entire process of Karma Yoga is nothing but cleaning the lens. Now, how much dust is there in the lens, how much grease is there in the lens, the time taken to clean it will depend upon that. So at this point in time, just keep going at it. Just keep on cleaning, viewing, cleaning, viewing. That's all. A time will come when it will become crystal clear, a beautiful photograph will emerge. That's what I can say.
thank you, Guruji. That's a beautiful metaphor analogy. I can understand that analogy, and I will work. I mean, it's not even a question. I don't even think, as you mentioned earlier, that the language itself sometimes gives limitations as to trying to understand, but it's not a working towards, it's an opening of being able to receive that knowledge, not having preconceived notions, not having one's ego determine whether this is okay to accept and that isn't okay. So it's, as you said, a process of listening, contemplating, acceptance, or abiding in that. So I'm here for that, and I appreciate very much what you have shared with us. Thank you.
So as we discussed in yesterday's Gita class, the most important component is Sangam Tyaktva, anxiety about the result of this action that we are doing should not be there.
Yes, I heard
how long
your.
will this go? How long I have to clean the lens and all? That question should not arise at all. Keep on cleaning till it gets clear. That's all. Yeah.
That's a wonderful thing. Thank you. Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you. Yes, Hariji, you suddenly disappeared.
I got a very unstable internet connection, you know.
Okay. I guess that, yeah. Go ahead.
Guruji, my question is about the real and reality and unreality of the world. Now, if we are taking the example of gold and ornament, or ocean and waves, gold is the real, but can we say ornament is not real?
Not real in the sense that what we are, see, we have to understand the definition of reality. What is the definition of reality? The Vedantic definition of reality means not having independent existence. That is the definition of reality. So if you take that definition of reality, ornament we can say is not real because it does not have independent existence. Its existence depends upon gold. Whatever 18 karat gold, you can only get 18 karat ornament. 24 karat gold, you can get 24 karat ornament. You cannot get a 24 karat ornament with 18 karat gold, correct? So whatever the gold's qualities, the ornament will get only those qualities from which it is made. So we say gold has got independent existence and the ornament has got its existence borrowed from the gold. So it will reflect all the qualities of the gold. Understood?
Yeah, I understand, but I'm still a little bit of confusion is there.
That is because your understanding of the world real and unreal. You are not taking the definition which Vedanta gives. You are taking the world as real, unreal from the dictionary meaning of what is real, what is unreal.
No, not exactly, because in Vedanta itself, they give different definitions at a different under different conditions.
True.
Now, if you are taking it, if we bring the term manifestation, we say, or the Vedanta says that the ornament is the manifestation of gold.
You can
like
say, yeah. But here we
like that.
See, one thing must be very, very clear in Vedanta.
Yeah.
The same terminology, if it is used somewhere else, does not mean the same thing. The word Atma is used in Vedanta, even why Vedanta, even in Bhagavad Gita itself, you say, at some place when Krishna says Atma, it refers to the physical body. At some place when he says Atma, it refers to the mind. And when in some other places he says Atma, it means Brahman. Now you cannot argue that Atma means Brahman, so everywhere I will take it as Brahman. That you cannot do. So wherever, whatever is the context in Vedanta, you will have to interpret it in that context only. How will we understand? For that purpose only, there are Shankara Bhashyam and all that. there are tikas. Otherwise, you and me, if we look at dictionary and try to understand Bhagavad Gita, we will go mad. So we have
No,
to
it is
have
not
certain,
actually,
not actually.
Guruji, it is not actually the dictionary meaning. Even in, we repeatedly, in Swami Paramarthananda also repeatedly says the world is the manifested form of, it is the manifestation of Brahman.
Manifestation
If
of,
we take,
yes, okay. Manifestation of Brahman, right?
like the ornament is the manifestation of gold,
You
or
can,
the wave is the manifestation. So in that, if we take that concept, manifestation, then can we say that the world is unreal or the ornament is unreal?
yeah, what do you mean by manifestation? Let us understand.
Manifestation,
What do you understand by the
ma-
word manifestation?
manifestation is, um, it is the, it comes out of the base material having the same qualities of the base material. Like if I am taking an ornament, bangle or chain, it has got the same properties of the gold.
Let me ask you one question.
So how can I say?
Yeah.
Yeah, Guruji, I'm not arguing. I'm trying.
No,
I'm trying to get.
I am trying to explain it only
Yeah,
by putting a proposition.
yeah.
You take a bangle,
Yeah,
and in your mind,
yeah.
you actually remove the shape and name of the bangle.
Gold,
What is left?
gold.
Take a necklace. In your mind, remove the name and shape of that necklace. What will remain?
Gold.
So when you say ornament, you take any number of ornaments.
Yeah,
When you remove the name and form,
yeah,
what remains is gold.
yeah.
So we say gold is real and ornament is a manifestation. We may not call it unreal, we call it mithya. We say that the existence of the ornament depends upon the existence of gold. This ornament exists in this shape and form, in this name, as a bangle or a ring or whatever it is, only because of gold gives its existence to this ornament to exist. Without gold, this ornament, there would be no bangle, no necklace, no ring, etc. That is what we mean by real, unreal. Manifestation, etc. Because even the word manifestation, we use it only in the context of creation. Because in creation, manifestation goes back into unmanifest form. The entire creation goes into unmanifest form. It doesn't become non-existent. It exists in an unmanifest form, in a seed form. Therefore, if we use the word manifestation here, what will happen? We will be waiting for a bangle to go back into the gold form at some stage without the intervention of of course, stolen ornaments go into that with the help of some goldsmith, isn't it? What the thieves do, they steal some jewelry and go to the goldsmith and convert it back into gold. No ornament is there. So that's also we can say it goes back in the seed form. But when we use the word, that's why terminology has become important. It all means the same, but where we should use what terminology, that becomes very important. Here in this, he has used the word aropitasya. Means what? Superimposed. So what is an ornament? Ornament is nothing but a shape and a name, or a name and form superimposed on the gold, which we are taking it as
Namarupa.
huh?
Namarupa.
Nama Rupa. It's only a ornament, is only a Nama Rupa of what? Of gold, which is the real thing. And the Nama Rupa, whatever object is there, has got all the qualities of the real thing. There is not different, even iota difference between the original and the Nama Rupa is there, right? So we say original is the real thing. These are all if you want to use your word manifestation, or these have got their existence depending on gold, depending on the main. Similarly, the entire world borrows its existence from Brahman, and that is why the world appears real. That is the explanation. It has got no independent existence. That's how we have to understand.
Okay.
It will become
It
clear
is a
more and more and more.
it's a difficult concept
Who says it is very
to-
easy? If it is very, very easy, everybody will be a jnani in the world, isn't it? So,
No,
there are
it
difficult.
is
I
a
mean,
very
nobody says it's very easy. It is very difficult, especially given our past orientation. So many janmas, we never even thought about all these things. Today, we are suddenly getting introduced. And we are in what LKG stage or UKG stage. You take up a PhD thesis and give it to an LKG student, what he will say? The most brilliant LKG student also will say is very difficult to understand. But when he grows up, when he comes to the PhD stage, he will write a thesis himself, isn't it? So that is how it is. We should not think that it is difficult, that we are. See, each one of us is endowed with the same intellectual capacity. But how we make use of it, in what stages that intellectual capacity unfolds itself, that is different for different people. So we must have patience. We must continue the sadhana of Shravanam Mananam, get every doubt clarified. Then a stage will come when everything will be clear. Today, our minds have got a lot of impurities, and that is why we find it difficult to accept all these things. Once those impurities are gone through Karma Yoga, then clarity will start coming. So that way you have to continue the process. Yeah,
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other question? I think no hands have gone up, so we'll close the session. Continue next week. Thank you all.